While the moon landing took place nearly half a century ago, Hollywood has kept the achievements of NASA fresh in films like Apollo 13 and The Right Stuff.
I mean, maybe they're still venting something and that's throwing out the trajectory, but we are definitely shallowing again.
In July, collectors will battle for a dash of lunar dust, spare spaceship parts, and even the famed white suits in a Bonhams auction collection sale that traces the path of America's space aspirations.
This is from Neil Armstrong's spacesuit. It was used to cover over some connectors to make sure that moon dust and things wouldn't get inside.
We're touching Neil Armstrong's spacesuit. Everybody knows that. And tell me the value of this.
This is estimated at $15,000 to $20,000, and it's very rare to find a piece of Neil Armstrong's spacesuit available on the market.
And I understand, I mean, you don't hear from him very often, and is he quite the recluse, and does that relate to the value of the item?
He does keep himself to himself, and he doesn't really court public interest, so that does definitely add to it, and also he was the first man on the moon.
There is a lunar surface star chart used by Buzz Aldrin and Neil Armstrong to navigate the galaxy, signed and inscribed by Aldrin for $70,000 to $90,000. An Apollo 14 lunar surface dust brush used by Alan Shepard and Edgar Mitchell, with a starting estimate of $125,000.
I think the most exciting item in the sale is going to be the landing sequence for Apollo 11. This is what Buzz Aldrin and Armstrong used to land Eagle onto the moon. And come up with those famous words, "the Eagle has landed."
No legendary space sale is complete without NASA's mascot Snoopy, which has already proven a favorite with children visiting the sale. The work of astronaut Charles Duke in space is also highlighted. Right here we have the most valuable piece in the sale. Give me a little sense about why this cuff is so important.
Well, this cuff actually spent around 12 hours actually on the moon's surface, and it was worn by the astronaut Charles Duke on the wrist of his spacesuit. And he would have flicked through it, performing various tasks that were laid out to him, collecting rock samples, taking photographs, taking measurements. And he then brought it back down to Earth and presented it to the backup commander from this mission, who was Fred Hayes. And Fred Hayes had been on Apollo 13, and because of the famous accident, never actually made it to the moon.
And what's the estimated value for this piece?
We're expecting this to make around about $200,000 to $300,000.
And then you also have this wonderful photograph.
This is the photograph that really confirms that Charles Duke was actually using it. And you can see it in the photograph.
A 4-foot model of the rocket, the Saturn V, that enabled the Apollo astronauts to travel to the moon is also in the sale. Estimated at $10,000 to $15,000, it comes with a 1966 photograph of Dr. Faget, explaining parts of this model to visiting dignitaries. This looks like a superb model. Give me a little sense about what this model is about and how it relates to the space program.
This is one of many models in the sale from the estate of Dr. Maxime Faget, who was an important rocket engineer and co-designed the original Mercury spacecraft. This is one that would have been used to demonstrate to visiting dignitaries and visitors to NASA exactly what the rocket looked like. This we're expecting to make between $10,000 and $20,000, purely really because of its provenance, the rarity, the extreme sort of technical detail in it. And it's also quite an attractive item.
Wonderful. And give us a sense of this photo that comes with it.
There's a photograph here with Dr. Faget himself demonstrating the model to some gentlemen who were paying a lot of interest in it, and he's dismantling the various parts. Inside is the lunar module, the command service module, and the detail is just fantastic.
Amazing. On the Forbes.com Video Network in New York, I'm Camilla Webster.